if demolishing is actually going to give you a better result than extending? So this is something that I have found occasionally to be the case. It's not always the case, but it is sometimes the case that in order to make your home better, it's not an extension that you really need to make. It's actually demolishing a bit and reconfiguring the space that you already have. And that's what I did with this client and their home. They didn't really like this idea, so they didn't continue to work with me. And I want to open your mind to this as being a possibility, because I don't want you to be shocked if you actually find that your expectation for what you think is the best solution is actually turned on its head by someone who's approaching it with a different viewpoint, and actually, there could be a better solution for you. I do find that it can be hard to see what the best solution is if you're not a skilled designer and you don't know very much about architecture and you don't really understand your options. Then it's very understandable if you don't pick up on these same things that I would pick up as an architect. So my clients, they came to me with this. There's a whole front of the house going forward. This is just the back half of the house that we looked at. It was a very big house, really big house actually. And they thought, because they had this garden that they wanted to have a better connection with from the family room, they thought that what they would need to do was to extend here to be able to do that. And that was, I believe, not going to be the best solution for them. So this was their kitchen. They just spent about, I don't know, 15,000-20,000 fitting it out with a new kitchen. So they had this brand new kitchen in here that they were happy with. They really liked it. And they had this lovely family room with this is where they spent most of their time. They had a nice fire. They had their dining table here. They didn't really use that door, although it existed. And but what they found was this conservatory, all of the glass was blown and you couldn't actually see through it. It was horrendous. It was the sort of conservatory, if you blew at it, it would probably collapse quite easily. All they had in here was like a little cage with their guinea pig. They didn't use this space at all. And the store, they actually used this as their utility room. So they had their washing machine and tumble dryer in here, and then they had a whole load of storage with a freezer and a couple of extra sort of overflow items from the kitchen that they couldn't fit. So they were going in and out of here a lot. Now, this family loves barbecues. They loved entertaining with barbecues in the summer, but they had a north-facing garden. So they had, sunshine in the evening over here, which was nice. So they did get some sunshine, but for the vast majority of the day, until sort of late evening, because there was another house here as well, so they would get bits of sunshine coming in here, but most of the time this whole space was very, very overshadowed, not very nice at all. And it was a real shame they couldn't use it. They couldn't appreciate the garden from the family room. They didn't have a view. They didn't have a view from the kitchen. And they had this awkward situation of, if they wanted to wash any clothes, they had to go outside to use the washing machine. Really not very convenient. So what I suggested that they did, I did look at extension options, but there was another issue, is that this site slopes down significantly. This is quite a steep slope, and as you can see on this plan here, there had to be several stairs to bridge the gap between this level and this level here. So what I suggested that they do instead was to demolish this. get rid of this bit because they just didn't need it. Wow, I've done something strange. It's not working. What have I done? I've turned my pen off so it can't write. Oh no. Right, well, that's useful. So what I suggested was demolish this, and now that's not working either. What have I done? I don't know how you make this work. It's not working. It's not working. No. Let me draw. Let me draw. Okay, hopefully it's going to work now. Is it going to work? Yes. Yay. Okay, so this bit, I suggested they get rid of that bit. By getting rid of that bit, what that meant was this bit was overshadowing the garden significantly. By removing it, it brought the sunshine into their garden earlier. So they could actually enjoy more sunny afternoons in their garden because they weren't overshadowed by that big bit plus the conservatory. So by bringing that back, they were then able to enjoy this space with some sunshine in the sort of earlier afternoon rather than just the late evening. And that meant that they would be able to enjoy more of their barbecues in the sunshine, which is a big deal here in the UK when sunshine is kind of a rare thing, and it's not so usually, unless we've got a heat wave, it's something that people want to sit in and spend time in because it's nice and warm and cozy, and it's exciting to have that sunshine. Whereas obviously in other parts of the country, I know when I lived in Spain, I would avoid the sunshine most of the time. I would want to sit in the shade, but that is not the case in the UK. So we were looking at creating that sunnier spot earlier in the afternoon, and by demolishing that bit, we could then create more sunshine to come in earlier in the day. So I would have loved to have put a window in here as well, but they had their oven here and their sink here. So unless they were to relocate, reconfigure the kitchen that they just spent a lot of money doing, that wasn't going to be an option. But in an ideal world, that's what I would do. I'd have a window here so you'd have more views out from the kitchen as well and be able to enjoy that more. And my suggestion was that they have this sort of upper patio where they could sit and enjoy eating their barbecues. They could actually have a barbecue down here or here, and some workspace to the side, either way, obviously with a back to protect it from the stair, so that you could actually be standing here doing your barbecuing, having chats, maybe having you could have lots of nice herbs here, or this could be seating, and you could sit up here and enjoy your barbecue with your friends, nip into the kitchen to grab whatever bits and pieces you might need from the kitchen very easily, all close to hand. And this family room could also open up to the garden, and having this this be a little bit shorter meant that you could then enjoy that view. There would be nothing in the way of the view to enjoy the garden, especially if you use glass here against the edge. That would stop impeding. The other moves that I suggested were to remove a couple of the units from here and actually then make this, because they wanted to have more of an open plan kitchen diner family room. So they had their dining table in here already, and they had their big family sofa in here already, and their TV and their cozy fireplace. So there's a step down. There was a step down here, and it was very disconnected, the kitchen, from this space. So what I suggested was that instead of demolishing the whole of this wall, which was what they were thinking of doing, what I suggested was that actually just remove a couple of these units and then put them along here, so they could actually get a lot more units in, and from that stuff outside they could bring that inside, so it's all much more convenient They could also turn it around the corner if they wanted to, and have this sliding pocket door, which would mean a structural opening from here to here. So it's still a significant structural opening, but it's just doing it in a slightly different way. So they'd have more flexibility to be able to open this up and close it down with a step here at the threshold, so that this would then feel much more open, but also the kitchen would actually enjoy much more storage space. And potentially those washing machine, tumble dry could come in here, or this space here, which is underneath the stairs and was not used at all, this space could actually be used as a utility room and have the storage and tumble dryer in here, and that could work quite well, although there would be the issue of extract vent is a requirement in utility, but that's something that, you know, could be figured out. And then they would not need to go outside. They would have everything that they needed within the kitchen. They would have that more open plan, but have flexibility to open that up and close it down as and when they wanted. They could open up this, but as it's closed, have this glazed sliding folding door potentially, or could be you know, a slider. It doesn't have to all open, and create this much more expansive view of the garden to be able to enjoy their barbecues with more sunshine earlier on in the day, and so on. And this option to demolish and make this one structural opening and replace the doors and windows with something new and reconfigure the kitchen, just get a few more units really to match the kitchen that they already had, so it's just become very much more coherent. That would cost a lot less than they thought. They had a budget of about 20,000, and so extending, even at that time, this is a few years ago now, but even at that time there was no way of doing the extension build that they were thinking about as being their only solution. There was no way to do that within that budget, and so by making these smaller moves, they would be able to achieve all of the things that they wanted to achieve with this open plan kitchen, diner, family, more flexibility, more view of the garden. All of that was achievable well within their budget, but not by extending, by demolishing a little bit. And that was a bit of a surprise for them. They didn't continue working with me because that was a bit of a shock probably. But this is a sort of solution that you may not have thought about yourself, because if you're not an architect, you're not familiar with manipulating floor plans and understanding how to design space that actually works for you and how you want to use it, then it can be quite difficult at times to figure out what the best solution is for you. And that's where the benefit of working with an architect who actually has that mental flexibility and agility and understanding of space comes in. That's where you can really benefit from having that input. It's a skill that you can learn, but why go through, you know, architects go through about 5 years at university, and then it takes several years actual on-the-job training. And why go through that? You don't have a spare 8 years to learn how to become an architect and to practice the skill and get better at it. It's better just to employ yourself an architect who can think more creatively, think outside the box, and get a better solution for you that is within your budget and actually delivers the kind of space that you want for the way you want to live. That's what an architect can do for you, and that's what I did here for my clients with this design. It's possible that they did go ahead and build this, I don't know, they didn't tell me, but yeah, I think it was a much better solution for them, and it ticks all of their boxes in terms of what they told me that they really wanted to have. And that's where it's really, really crucial to be very clear on a vision for the way you want to live. That vision for the way you want to live is what informs your design and creates the spaces that will support you and make it possible for you to live in the way that you want to live. That's what this design did for my clients in terms of what they told me. I'm not a mind reader. I can't design for you based on what I think is best for you if you don't tell me. So if you tell me what you want, then I can give you a design that actually works for you and gives you what you want. I hope this has been interesting. Do comment below with your house type. What do you have? This was probably a 4 or 5 bedroom 1930s garden kind of villa. It was, what's the word? Garden village kind of villa, and it's a conservation area, this, so it's quite, there were other aspects to take into account as well. It wasn't just the case of just what was required and the direction of the sunshine. Those are things that we took into account, but also it was conservation area, so actually it's quite a sensitive area in terms of design, and so doing a small demolition of like a 1980s conservatory that was very nasty and a little lean-to would not have been a big deal for this area. We would have been very easy to get planning permission for that and to deliver this project. Comment below with your house type and I will look through my archives and see if I have some interesting projects that might reflect some of the things that you're trying to achieve with your house project. Bye for now.